I'm gonna wait for some people to get in here, but this is gonna go on Patreon. So I'm gonna wait. Wait a minute. Because I did kind of start this randomly. I do want to start off by saying that there's a dark side to everything. I just want to start off by saying that there's a dark side to everything. And social media is obsessed with only showing you the light side of life. But let me make sure my connection is okay. There's a dark side to everything, but social media only wants to focus on the light side of life. There's a dark side to everything. This is why you cannot fearmonger me, because there's a dark side to everything. And I have confronted the dark side to my decisions. And it's really that simple. People try to throw it up in your face like, I ain't thought about the dark side of my decisions. I think about the dark side of all of my decisions. That's called being a smart decision maker. You have to. You have to. So, first and foremost, nothing in this life is guaranteed, but there are so many people online that's going to try to sell you a guarantee. That's just not realistic. Um then you know what, I feel bad. You know who I feel bad for? I feel bad for the people who have this idea, this thought out plan of how their life is going to go, and then it doesn't go that way because they never thought about the dark side of their decisions. And sometimes the things that you want to go on, or you things that you plan to have in your life, or the things that you plan to experience in your life, or the things that you plan to experience in life, right? It's not always dark, right? But it may not be exactly what you're looking for, exactly what you want. Have you came to peace with that yet? Because I have. And it doesn't scare me because it's life. It's life. I even had to talk to my own mother because she felt like her life was going to look different at the age that she's at right now. And she thought she would be retired. She thought that her kids would come around more, and she thought that she would have more grandkids, and that didn't happen. That didn't happen. Her kids, for the most part, decided not to have kids. She only has one grandchild. And she thought she would retire, but she feels like it's not the right decision to retire right now at her age, but she thought she would have retired by now. Then she thought her kids would come around more. They don't, because they're busy adults. They have work, they have to take care of kids. So let me make sure my connection is okay, because I feel like my connection is messing up. No, there's so much that you don't have control over, yet people are still trying to force stuff, and it just doesn't make sense. You're going to force things and be in situations that you really don't want to be in. Okay, let me know how my connection is. Mm. Okay, my connection is good. It's good? Okay. Are we good? I only got one comment. Okay. That's what I wanted to talk about. Like, I used to force things in my life and was miserable as hell. That's why I'm not about to do that again. Just because the internet says I should do it, maybe you should do it. Then you let me know how it works out for you, because I already did that. Made me miserable, depressed, suicidal. We not doing that no more. We not. We not doing that no more. Are you out of your mind? Like, this is my thing. This is what I want to ask y'all, okay? Before we get into what I really want to talk about. Every reason that I had in my previous life was logical. Like, it wasn't, oh, like, I'm just like, oh, niggas ain't shit and I hate men. Girl, we wasn't talking like that. Like, I had logical reasons behind why I feel the way that I feel. You know what women were saying? So you just gonna die alone. You not gonna have kids. Girl, what are you not understanding? Like, it's either this or that. But see, what a lot of women don't understand is when you actually do the work on yourself and you find peace, you are not willing to compromise that for nobody. Not kids, not a man, not money, not fame, not anyone, not friends, not family, nobody. So I get why some can't relate. But like when you work mentally, emotionally, and spiritually to reach a level of inner peace, money, fame, none of this stuff is going to compromise what I had to work very hard for. So it's bigger than a man, it's bigger than kids. When you actually have inner peace, no one can buy you. No one. No one can sell you anything. No one can sell you a dream. No one can sell you a fairy tale because you have the very thing that you've been wanting, yearning for. Maybe, and you know what's so crazy about all of this? When I started to do the work on myself, I started realizing like, this is the thing that I've been wanting this whole time. I was chasing stupid stuff like money, bags, shoes, the perfect closet. And when I started to do the work on myself, I started realizing I was chasing the wrong things, looking in the wrong places. And the whole time I had it within myself. So saying things like, you're just going to be by yourself. Yes. Yes. If I have to choose between my peace being compromised, yes. Yes. 1,000 times over. Because I know what it's like to go to bed at night and be restless, stressed. I have insomnia. I have eczema. Can't really sleep good at night, just having a hard time because I'm internally not at peace. I know what that's like. Then I'm chasing all of these things, right? Like a man, a relationship, marriage, kids, money, the perfect closet, the perfect house, the perfect car, the perfect man. I'm chasing the wrong things. And the whole time I had it within myself. So I get that some women have not gotten to this space yet, but it exists. And that's the thing about being in this space. No, you don't need external things to make yourself happy. That includes alcohol, pill popping, sex. Like, no, you don't need all of these external things to make yourself feel whole and complete. You found it within yourself because you decided to work on yourself. You decided to heal and work on your issues and your problems. And see, this is the thing that kills me about society. It's like we tell women to do this, we tell people to do this, we tell both men and women to do this, and when they do it, and they don't want to fool with nobody, they don't want to deal with nobody because we live in a world where a lot of people are not at peace. They not. They not. They not at peace. And so they'll try to leech onto you or they'll try to come into your life and disturb it and create chaos because they're restless within themselves. And then they'll try to put that on you. Some of us don't want to deal with that. It don't have nothing to do with I'm mad at who? Who am I mad at? I'm not mad at anybody. I'm just being very logical. And then this is another thing. When you actually find the peace in yourself, you have to be logical. You can't be naive. You can't. You can't be like, oh, what's the big deal? I let this man come into my life. Or what's the big deal? I let this new friend that I met come into my life and her life is a mess. She got drama. What's the big deal? You can't be naive like that anymore because you have really found your inner peace and you're starting to see all of these people around you that are not at peace. And so they come with baggage, they come with problems, they come with issues. And let's keep in mind that I'm an empath. So it's like, oh, but I want to be there for them, right? I want to support them. I want to help them because I've went through it. But I had to realize that people have to want to help themselves. I can want it for them all day. But if they don't want it for themselves, ain't nothing I can do or say about that. So relying on potential in men, relationships, friendships, it's just not happening. I already did that. Got burned in friendships, relationships with men. It's just not happening. Like, I'm not willing to compromise my peace. Some of us are just not willing to compromise our peace. It don't have nothing to do with this gender war online. It just don't. There are just a lot of people in the world that are truly unwilling to work on themselves. They don't want to. They don't want to face themselves. They don't. They do not want to face themselves. They don't want to do it. My own father doesn't want to do it. So I have to keep my distance with him sometimes. And it's like some of your family members, you have to keep your distance with them because they don't want to face themselves. And then once you become at peace with yourself, you can pick up on things. So you can sense people's darkness. You can sense people's guilt. You can sense people's bitterness. You can sense people's regret. And even just being around them and picking up on that, that disturbs my peace. Because I don't have regrets. I don't have guilt. I don't have darkness. I don't have that. I don't want that. So it's bigger than, oh, you just don't want no man. It's no, I have actually found my peace and I don't feel like just having a man is good enough for me. Like, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. And you know what? I'm not even going to apologize for it because I didn't even do anything wrong. I didn't. They say you should do the work on yourself. You should work on yourself, right? But they don't really say how lonely it can get because other people are unwilling to do the work on themselves. So you have to distance yourself from family, friends, lovers. And you thought, and this is the thing about how you planned for your life to go a certain way, but it didn't go a certain way. You thought that you was going to come up with this friend. You thought that you were going to elevate with this man, and it didn't happen because they refused to do the work. So are you supposed to stay stagnant with them, or are you supposed to elevate and keep moving forward because that's what's best for you? I had to leave a lot of people behind. And that wasn't an easy decision to make. But it wasn't fair to me, someone who has actually done the work on myself, to remain stagnant with people who refuse to just put in the work, face their problems, face their demons, face their issues. And it's both men and women. They don't have nothing to do with me. So they got left. They got left. There's the dark, and like I was saying earlier, there's a dark side to just about everything, even when it comes to you leveling up. You leaving friends behind. You thought you didn't have to leave behind, but you had to leave them behind because you started seeing how they don't want what you want. They don't want peace. They like chasing men. They like chasing men for money. You don't want that because you know it don't lead to nothing. You know it don't lead to what you found within yourself. So it's like, you got to leave them behind too. So it's bigger than, oh, I just want to be alone. It's like, come on. A lot of people in the world today, they're not happy. They're not well. It's more than just physical illness and sickness. It's mental. Just people are just not well in the mind. And they're not trying to change that either. So can we be real about it? Can we be real about it? And I had to learn that. I had to learn that there are some people in the world that don't want peace. They like the chaos. They like the chase. They like the chaos. They like the chase. They like the yelling. They like the arguing. They like the fights. They like that type of stuff. And I'm just like, I didn't sign up for this. I didn't sign up for this. I did not sign up for this. This is going to go on my Patreon. But I do want to share this. I'll leave this video up for 24 hours, but it's going to be saved to Patreon. I'll leave it up for 24 hours. I'll leave it up for 24 hours. The other videos are staying up, but this one I am going to push it back. But I just don't get this. Like, this ain't about no gender war. That's why I feel like the gender war is stupid, because both men and women are being exposed right now. Like, I don't get how y'all don't see it. Both men and women are being exposed. If you've been out here on bullshit, you're being exposed. It's really that simple. You can't hide who you are. And then the crazy thing about life right now is some people are waiting on you to get your karma, and they don't even understand that you are getting your karma. It's called good karma. There's good, there's bad. The whole point of karma is, right, you put out and you put out what you get back, right? So there's good and bad. If you've been putting out good karma, you're receiving your karma right now too, but it's good karma. People waiting on you to receive karma because in their mind, in their negative mindset, they only think of karma, oh, it's bad. No, there's good and there's bad karma. What you put out is what you get back. So people out here waiting on your downfall, waiting for something bad to happen. They don't understand the whole time that they like, wow, like nothing is bad in her life. Like it seems like she's doing better. Da, da, da. Oh my God. You're watching me receive my good karma. There's good and bad. So be careful about what you put out into the world, because what you put out is what you get back. It's the law of attraction. What you put out is what you get back. But no, peace is more important to me than anything. Like, people just don't understand that. I will log out of YouTube. I will log out of Instagram. I will disappear. Like, people just don't understand that. And no, I won't respond, because I understand fighting fire with fire is not going to diffuse the flame. It's going to make it grow. So I'm just going to log out, not respond. It's that simple. It's not about being unbothered. It's about me protecting my energy and my peace. It's like, let me just disconnect. Let me just log out. Let me just take a break. Let me go take a walk. Let me just go outside, cool off, come back. It's just that simple. But I wanted to talk about the dark side of things that social media never wants to focus on. But let me play this video.
Girls getting dragged on Twitter as we speak for a tweet where I stated, I hate how the girls only speak on the glamorous side of shit. Like, keep it all the way 100, because everything has a shadow. Tell the girls about the pain you were in after you had the surgery. Tell the girls about how dating for money lowered your sense of self-value and worth. Tell the girls about how being a single mother is hard and that they should wait. Stop glamorizing this shit for clicks. Give people the full truth so then they can actually make an accurate decision. Now, whether y'all like it or not, in this new digital space, influencers have influence. And a lot of y'all have forgotten how it was to be a kid. There were so many people in my comments saying, oh, well, y'all shouldn't be looking to strangers to tell you who to be or to tell you what to do. But didn't we do the same thing? When we was watching?
We did. We did the same thing. I know I did. Disney Channel, PBS Kids, hell, BET, when my mom and my daddy didn't know about it because they used to lock the TV when I was coming up. They used to block those channels, parental control, stuff like that. But no, kids are looking to social media now. They are. So whenever I give my commentary, I don't know what it is, but it's like people love to jump to the most extreme conclusions. And it's beyond me. Like it's above me now. I don't even know what to do no more. Because I'm just like, I didn't say that. Like where did you even get that from? That's pretty extreme. Don't you think it's extreme for you to jump from that to that? That is it. That's like boom, boom, damn. That's a lot. That's a big jump that you just made. And I did not say that. This is the thing about the dark side. There's a dark side to every decision that you make. That's why when I say, as a woman, when you are trying to make a decision for yourself, you write down the pros, the cons, and the risks. Then you cross examine these three categories, and then you move forward with a decision. There is a dark side to everything. There's a dark side to marriage. There's a dark side to motherhood. There's a dark side to working a 9 to 5 job. There's a dark side to entrepreneurship. There's a dark side to being an influencer, content creator. There's a dark side to being rich. There's a dark side to being wealthy. There's a dark side to, I don't know, just dating for money, sugar baby, sugar daddy. There's a dark side to dating broke. There's a dark side to everything in this life. So when I give my commentary, I'm assuming I'm speaking to people that have common sense. I do. I be like, oh, okay, my followers, they educated, they got common sense. But sometimes I'll be like, wait a minute. That don't make no sense to me. There's a dark side to everything in this life. I witnessed the dark side of marriage with my grandparents. They were married 50 plus years. My grandfather, he got Alzheimer's. We had to put him in a nursing facility where he had his own needs. My grandmother had different needs. So they had to separate. Married 50 years, stayed married, separated in retirement homes, in nursing homes. And I don't think that they ever thought, after having a family, raising a family, that they were going to separate and live alone like that. But that's what happened. And that's what I'm saying. I feel bad for people who have this plan in their mind that their life is going to go a certain way. And I really send you prayer for real, because life is not that simple. It's not. It's very complicated. It is. There's a dark side to pregnancy. There is. You may not make it to full term. Should you beat yourself up because you didn't? No. No. Life is so unpredictable. Please leave yourself room for life to be unpredictable, because if you don't, it's going to mess with your mental health. I allow so much room for endless possibilities. That's why having an open mind is going to bring you a sense of stability. But if you're very close-minded and narrow-minded, girl, you're going to drive yourself insane. And it's not fair to you. It's not fair for you to do that to yourself. And the reason is because all of these things are out of your control. And that's the thing with me, Yoni. I'm free, meaning I'm open-minded. I'm allowing my life to go a million different ways. And I'm excited because I'm on this ride, right? And I'm just like, if it happens, it happens. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I'm going to make memories. I'm going to share, I'm going to cherish the moments that I have with the people that I love and that care about me. And I'm just going to keep it at that. There are people that come into your life for a season, and then there are people who leave. But I cherish the moments that we shared. It doesn't even matter if it ended bad. It doesn't. It doesn't, because I understand life is unpredictable. Adults make decisions and choices, and sometimes they hurt me, right? They hurt me. And yes, it hurts. Yes, I feel it. But at the end of the day, they made that decision. So now that season has ended, and now I have to move on. But I had a good time with them. But things just ended the way that they did. So I'm moving on. This is life. This is what life is. You have people having kids, separating, getting married, divorcing. And it's life. Your life don't have to end because your life didn't go the way that you wanted or the way that you planned. This is why I don't believe in forcing things. I don't. I don't believe in forcing things. I believe that, everything happens for a reason. I believe that things just happen when they're supposed to. But sometimes I think things happen because we were never supposed to be in that situation with that thing or with that person, or we were never supposed to put ourselves in that situation. And so sometimes things go bad because we were never supposed to be in the situation to begin with. But it happened, right? Because it's life. Because we have free will. We made a decision and choice, and it didn't go the way that we planned. Doesn't make you a bad person. It doesn't. But this feeling like your life gotta go this way. Stop doing that to yourself. And I have to say, you're doing it to yourself because you're doing yourself a disservice. You're preparing your mind for something, and then you're setting yourself up to be disappointed. And it's like, you deserve to set yourself up to be optimistic, not disappointed. So you can set your mind up to be optimistic by just leaving this open, right? Like, you just have this open space. It's creative. It can go 1,000 different ways. And that's way more fun than just narrowing it down. Like, oh my God, girl, we only have 5 colors we can choose from. We only have like 4 choices. And it's just like, girl, like, open it up a little bit. Like, let yourself kind of breathe a little bit. Be more optimistic and allow yourself to be free. This is the liberation that women should have been focusing on, not sex. Not because, one thing that I've learned about sex is like sex leads to so much like disappointment. Like, I mean, if we're being real here, sometimes men don't be hitting on it right. You know what I mean? They don't be rubbing on it right. They don't be kissing on it right. And so you get disappointed with that. Or you get disappointed because it didn't turn into a committed relationship. You get disappointed because it didn't turn into marriage. You get disappointed because as a woman, you didn't get what you wanted out of it. That's not liberation. Liberation is when you can put yourself in a space mentally where you are allowing yourself to live and you're allowing yourself to do things on your own terms when it benefits you. That's it. And that's the thing about this, right? That's the thing about life is it looks differently for everybody. It looks differently for you, me, your mother, your friends, your siblings. It looks different because liberation, it's not like it's more of a monolith. It's not a clone. Because people be thinking liberation is a clone. It's really not. Because what I may find liberating, it may not be liberating to you, though. But make sure that when we speak on liberation, that you're doing it and you're benefiting and you're doing it on your own terms in the way that you want. Otherwise, that's not liberating. That's not. That's not freedom. Because now you feel obligated or you feel like you're expected to do this or that, but really you're not. You're not. It's all about what you want. But you got to sit down and truly make that decision. But you can't make these decisions based off of what other people are telling you. You know how your life is. You know how your life is going. You do. You know how your life is going. So you can't feel regret. You cannot feel regret. You cannot feel the regret of making it seem like you missed out, but it's like it never happened though. That's the thing. And this is the thing that like really troubles me sometimes with some men and women is you're trying to hold yourself accountable for something that never happened. Like I'll use the prime example of I've never met a good man. Never met him. But people try to hold the fact that I don't have a man against me. How can you hold that against me if I've never met a good man? So another example would be you're holding the fact that you don't have kids at 25. How can you hold the fact that you don't have kids at 25 when you haven't met a spouse that would be able to aid you in motherhood. Why would you hold that against you? It never happened. But that's the thing. Like, have you accepted that? Because you have to accept it. If it never happened, it never happened. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. That's the thing. They try to make it seem like something wrong with you. What's wrong with you if it never happened? That's like sitting here in front of this window and this big plane that was supposed to come by, it never came. I'm like, damn, they said the plane was gonna come and it never came. And then people want to hold it against you. And it's just like, but the plane never came. Like, how are you holding something against me? The plane, it never showed up. It never showed up. So please be realistic. Are there some women out here that regret the decisions in their life? Of course. But are you that woman? That's the question that you have to ask. Are you that woman? You have to know yourself better than anybody. You can't allow other people to try to tell you about who you are, what you've gone through, what you've experienced, what you've actually had to overcome. They can't tell you about your life. Only you can tell people about your life. People can make assumptions. People can stereotype. People can make all of these ideas. They could create these ideas for why you are the way that you are, but they don't have a clue. They don't even have an idea. And you know what? In today's society, people are not even trying to understand people to that capacity because they automatically have these assumptions and they think that it's true. They think it's truth, but it's not. This is why when people come to my platform, I truly try to understand them. I can't just go off of surface level things. I just can't. Because you may shock me. I'm like, well, damn, I would have never thought that. So try to understand people. Like, give the grace that you should be giving to yourself. Also, give that to others as well. Because you can't just go off of what a stereotype told you that this person is. They may not be that. They may not be that at all. So you have to understand that. Like, you have to give yourself some grace. And I'm sorry, the world that we live in is not going to give you that. That's why you have to give it to yourself. Like the Simone Biles video that I just did. Like, I had Black women in my comment section gaslighting me saying, oh, so, Black women didn't do that. Yes, they did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. Hold it. Why is it? And this is another thing. Like, after, ooh, girl, a lot of y'all gonna be mad at me when I say this, but it's a real statement. I'm starting to understand where men are coming from when they say Black women carry themselves around as if they're above reproach. I'm starting to understand where they're coming from. And listen, I can reason with you 1,000 times over, right? A lot of times we get blamed for just about everything, but know when to take accountability. Know when to own some shit that you did. It's not hard. It's like trying to talk to some toddlers and they throwing a tantrum like, oh, I didn't do that. But you did do it. Like, I was this close, y'all. And I said, no, we are not doing that. I was this close to posting the faces of the women that were doing it. This close. And I said, no, we're not stooping that low. Because I'm not trying to send hate to these women, but it was crazy that I felt the need to basically put these women on blast just so you could see that Black women were the ones that actually in fact did it. And that's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. If I did something, I can own it. You want to know why? Because I did that shit. Like, I did that shit. I can't be like, oh, I didn't do it. Oh, I didn't do. If I did it, but I'm gonna give you a tip. If you don't want to be held accountable for it, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Like, I don't want to be held accountable for being a baby mama. I don't. To a third, fourth. I don't want to be a third, fourth baby mama. So because I don't want to be held accountable for that, I ain't dealing with no man that got kids like that. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Like, I'm starting to see what people are saying about how Black women don't want to take accountability when we need to. It's not every single time, right? Because I get it. I'm a Black woman. I experience things just like you do. But the Simone Biles thing, I'm like, damn. And before the Simone Biles thing, then it was, I think it was the Krishan thing. It's like, come on. It's come on. Own it. You got to understand that accountability is confidence. It's confidence. So if you think I'm being unbothered, it's not that I'm being unbothered. It's just I can be accountable for the things that are true in my life. And so when people, men, women, whoever are saying things and it's just not true, I don't feel the need to respond because I know that I can hold myself accountable for the real stuff that happens in my life. So I'm not going to respond to people where I'm just like, I'm gonna give you a shoulder shrug. I'm like, girl, I know myself. I know who I am. I know what I do. I'm accountable for my actions. And when people just throw some wild stuff out here, I don't feel the need to respond because I'm like, damn, I hold myself accountable. So I'm like, where the hell they get that from? Well, I don't feel the need to respond to that because I know I ain't never did no stuff like that. Accountability, it is confidence. It is. Like women be searching high and low for confidence, high and low for confidence. And I see so many videos of, as a woman, how do you get your confidence? How do you find the confidence in yourself? How do you find accountability? Yeah, accountability. It could start with the kitchen. It can start with you binge eating. It could start with you overeating. It could start with you under eating. It could start with you not working out, not being active, not moving your body. It could start with I don't know, just it like accountability is confidence. It is. Like it is. It's confidence. And if I'm gonna start doing self-love content videos, which I plan on starting my recording process this week, probably most likely tomorrow, I'm gonna be real about it. It's not gonna be, I mean, we could do a makeup tutorial, but girl, it's gonna start with confidence though, because you can put all the makeup on in the world that you want to put on, and that's not gonna help you with your confidence. Accountability is gonna help you with your confidence. So if you can't get to a point where you're holding yourself accountable, you're not going to have confidence, because anybody can come up to you and trigger you. Anybody. Hell, I can trigger you easily because you don't hold yourself accountable. And it shouldn't be. Women who hold themselves accountable, they're not easily triggered, which means they're not insecure. They have insecurities, but they're not insecure. There's a difference. We all have insecurities. But you can't trigger her insecurities because she holds herself accountable. She has discipline. She's not going to be easily moved or easily triggered because you said something that may align with her insecurities. You can't throw her off her block. You just can't, because she holds herself accountable. So once you get to this level of being accountable, you'll see your confidence shoot right up. Like, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's the best makeup routine I think I've ever seen. It's the best workout routine I've seen. It's the best skincare routine I've seen. Like, accountability is where it really starts. And then if you want to put some sauce, right? You want to put some sauce on your confidence, then we can get into the skincare. We can get into the makeup routine. We can get into the gym sessions. We can even get into the hair tutorials and stuff like that. But if you really want confidence, it's going to start with accountability, and then we can start putting some seasonings and some sauces on top of that, some butter if that's what you want. But it's really going to start with accountability. It just is. Otherwise, your confidence is going to be performative. Some will say fake, but performative. Because you can't even face your decisions. A confident woman can always face her decisions, good, bad, and indifferent, because it's not about always making the right decisions or the good decisions. Sometimes it's making the worst decisions. Sometimes it's making the worst decisions, but you're still able to face it though. That's why you're confident, because you're still able to face the bad decisions that you made. So that's where your confidence comes from. But it's not it's not all of these things that we see on social media sometimes. I wish I listen, I used to be a very big consumer of social media. And I used to buy into these gimmicks. I used to think gimmicks was just diet and these pills, these teas and stuff like that. But girl, like we live in a gimmick society now. Like it's at an all-time high. It is. It's at an all-time high because social media only likes to show you the light side of things, not the dark side of things. And so we see the gimmicks. I see the gimmicks. I do. Like with plastic surgery, but there's a dark side to plastic surgery. There is. There's a dark side to just about anything in this world. I think that's why we as humans need balance to function. Like, I think that's why if we don't have balance, we are rooted in dysfunction and chaos. I think that's why, because we live in a world that is balanced. If there's light, then there's darkness. And then in between, there's some gray. And so if you don't have balance in your life, because you need light, you need dark, and you may even need a little bit of gray. You may need a mix of light and dark at the same time, right? But when you create that balance in your life, you tend to be functioning pretty well as an adult or as a human being. You tend to be healthy, happy, content, satisfied in life. So you have to, like, balance is the number one thing that I talk about on my channel. When you listen to my commentary, please associate that with balance. Do not jump from white to black. I'm like, damn, slow down. Like, what about all the in-between stuff? What about like all the in-between stuff? Like when I talked about taking myself out of the game because I just don't want to deal with people and their problems, right? People just automatically went from that to, so you're alone. No, I have community. Like, do you not have community? I have community. You don't have community? Like, I have family. I have nieces. I have friends. I have community. I have people I can fellowship with and things like that. It's not just you being alone. Like, why we jump from this to that? I'm like, community. Start working on your community. And I talk about this all the time because my aunt, she's coming to visit me. And she is, I want to say she would be considered disabled. She has Down syndrome. She lives in assisted living for people who have a disability. This is a woman that has created community. She doesn't have any children because she couldn't have children. She didn't get married because she couldn't get married. If she got married, the state would take her benefits. This is a woman that has community. So it's just, a lot of women are getting sold this fairy tale that if you get married, you have kids, that you're going to have somebody take care of you when you get older. That's not true. Have you talked to older women? I have. They get mad at the fact that their kids don't visit, don't call them enough, don't check in on them at all. So I don't know where y'all getting that from. And the reason why it kind of happens this way is because when you have kids, they grow up, they move out, they become adults, they get their own lives, and now they have their lives, and then you have your life to still live, and then they created their own life. And so sometimes you may not see them as much. They may not call as much. They may not check in as much. Talk to older women about what it's like to get old, even with kids, because a lot of you guys have this light side of what it would be like, but you're not considering the dark side. You're not. Because the last time I went home for my grandfather's funeral, my aunt was the one that said, you need to call your grandmother more. You need to call her more. She feel like you don't call her enough. And then if I go to my grandmother's living facility, right, I'll go in there And all the older women are talking about how their grandkids don't call them, don't check in on them. Their children don't really call or check in on them unless they need something, right? Unless they need something. But like sometimes older people, they do. They feel that sense of loneliness. It doesn't matter if they were married or not. So this is my thing. Are you preparing yourself for that? Or are you relying on your children to be there? Are you relying on your husband to be there? Are you relying on your grandchildren to be there? Because that may not be the case. There's no guarantee. So talk to older women about getting older. Talk to them about that. Because I only see the light side of these conversations, but a lot of seniors, they just want somebody to talk to. And a lot of them had kids. A lot of them had kids. A lot of them have a big family. But it's just not, it's not that simple. It's not that simple. So I try to make sure that I check in on my community, right? I'm trying to do better with that because it's been brought to my attention. I mean, as I get older, I'm starting to see certain things that I didn't really notice. So check in on your community, check in on your grandmother. Check you talking about you don't want to be alone, you don't want to be alone. Oh, well, check in on those in your family where they are alone and you don't talk to them because you exist. You're their grandchild. You are their child, whatever the case may be, right? But you don't call them. But you think by having kids, this is what's crazy. You think by having kids that you won't be alone. That may not be the case. So check in on your community. And I started doing it. I'm gonna be real with you. The reason why I started doing it more is because I'm like, damn, if I do end up by myself, I want people to check in on me. So let me do it for those that need it in my community, in my family, because I'm starting to see how important that is. So check in on your community. But this assumption that you're going to have kids around, grandkids around, stuff like that, that may not be the case. I'm sorry. And that's the dark side of it. You know, that may not be the case.
Watching TV, when we was watching Disney Channel, when we was watching award shows and MTV Jams, weren't we looking to strangers to tell us what was cool, what was in style? The youth aren't watching MTV Jams. They aren't watching the late night show. They getting on these phones. They watching TikTok. They're watching us. And as millennials, we were lied to, right? A lot of the things we looked up to and thought was cool, and the people we looked up to 20 years later, we're realizing they're not a good person, right? It took 20 years for us to open our eyes to a lot of shit. We were lied to. We were bamboozled. So I feel like now that a lot of us have influence and have platforms, it is your duty to keep it a full 100 about the things that you are selling. A lot of y'all get on here, you sell a lifestyle, you sell a brand, you sell a body type, but you don't keep it all the way 100 about what you had to endure to get it.
And I feel like this is what people want me to do with my platform. And y'all, I can't do y'all like that. I can't. I can't. I really can't. I know y'all want me to come on here and sell y'all this gimmick, this lifestyle, and I just can't. Like, I would feel horrible. I would feel fake as hell, and I just can't do it. Like, I just can't go out like that. If I'm gonna go out, I'm gonna go out because I was real with you. I'm not gonna go out because I lied. Like, I can't go out like that. I'm not gonna go out because I sold my soul. I can't go out like that. I kept it all the way real, even on my deathbed. They took me out, y'all, but I kept it real all the way up until my last breath. I'm not gonna sell you a gimmick. I can't. I can't. I think that there are people out here that are in healthy relationships, healthy marriages with children. I do. I just don't think that that is the majority anymore. I mean, statistically, it doesn't seem that way. It doesn't. It does not seem that way. So I can't really sell you that dream. Like, it would be wrong of me to do that. And it's like people want me to come on here and basically tell them that everything is going to be okay. But am I really setting you up for success? No. That's why I have to hold, like, even when it comes to things that we as Black women get caught doing, I have to hold you accountable for that because I'm trying to set you up for success, not failure. Like, I don't want to sit up here and call us out about some shit that we did. Like, damn, that's the last thing I want to do. Because first of all, I got to put my pride aside because I'm very prideful, especially as a Black woman. I got to put my pride aside. Then I got to hold us accountable. And then I got to face the comments of the men that see, I told you. But I got to do what I got to do because I'm trying to set us up to win, right? To be successful. So that means I got to put all that stuff that really has a lot to do with my ego to the side and deal with it. And it just it's hard for some people, but it's like it got to be done. Once you just, it is the thing. I'm an Aries. So we're big on, listen, just rip the band-aid off, get it over with. Just rip it off, get it over with, and then move forward. You don't got to stay there long. Just rip it off, move forward. But you know how Black people are. You know how the Black culture is like you know how it is. You admit you did something wrong, they gonna hold it over your head until the end of time. Black people got to learn how to let things go. But are you the type to let things go? That's my thing. Are you the type to let things go? I'm the type to let things go. I'm like, listen, if they apologize, they took accountability. I'm not about to hold it over their head until they die. They owned it. So let's move on. But some people don't know how to let it go. They have to hold on to it forever. And it's just like, I'm not really for that either, because people are able to make their mistakes, own it truthfully. Don't bullshit me, because I know the difference, and then move forward. But I'm not going to hold it over your head for forever and ever and ever. Like, I leave room for you to grow, to elevate.
So many people was like, they're not lying, they're just leaving out the truth. Bitch, that's a lie. Our society has gotten so comfortable with glamorizing things that just aren't glamorous. The men glamorize street life, but ain't nothing glamorous about attending multiple funerals, about being in and out of jail. Girls glamorize BBL culture and being a hot girl and being a city girl, but ain't nobody talking about the Corinne Steffens and the Brittany Renners. Whatever y'all want to say about the women, they kept it a stack about what they had to endure to get the lifestyle they was living.
Nobody ever wants to talk about the dark side, y'all. There's a dark side to everything. That's the thing about life. You can choose your life, right? You can try to, for the most part, but really you don't have no control. So that's where you may be failing yourself, is thinking that you get 100% say so. You don't. You just have free will. So certain things may be presented to you, and then you have free will to choose, but you don't have control over what is actually presented to you unless you put yourself in a position to receive certain things. But see, that's where things get a little tricky. That's where things get a little tricky, because you could be working on yourself, putting yourself in a position, and somehow you still don't get certain things. But that's the realness about life, though. And it happens to everybody in different ways, though, because we all make different choices. We all have free will, and we made a different decision. Or we may have made the same decision, but we still got a different outcome. That's life, though. Like, life is complicated. I don't know why people try to come to social media and try to make it seem like, oh, it's so simple. Are we living in the same reality? Because I don't think we are. It's not that simple. I wish, because then I guess at that point I can start selling you lifestyle plans, like how to get this lifestyle, or I don't know, personality plans, so that you can get the lifestyle, girl. I be seeing all type of crazy stuff. Okay. I think in the manosphere, I think they got courses on how to become more masculine. And I'm like, please stop. It's a mess. So I'm just like, okay, I mean, listen, get your money, and then have the audacity to be charging $500, $1,200. Girl, I mean, that's what people want me to come on here and be selling. I can't do you like, I can't go out like that. If I'm gonna go out, I gotta go out a different way.
And I respect that. Tell the whole truth so then people can make a conscious decision. Mm-hmm. Be responsible with your motherfucking influence.
Yeah, you have to be responsible. You have to be responsible. You have to. Thank you, Pink, for the super chat. I really do appreciate that. You have to be responsible, and being responsible, it just means that you can be accountable and you can take ownership for your life and your choices and your decisions, and really just keep it at that. But yeah, the internet is definitely a fantasy, but I'm not gonna rob y'all of $500, $1,200. Like, that's crazy. That is crazy. That is crazy. I feel like, let me give you a tip, because people always ask me, how do I do it? Right? How do I do it? How do I do it? How do I do it? I believe that I am living in my purpose. And I believe that because I'm living in my purpose, that spiritually my bills will stay paid. So I don't believe YouTube pays my bills. I believe spirit pays my bills. I believe my calling pays my bills. I believe my purpose pays my bills. I don't have fear of living in lack. And the reason is because I really do believe spiritually my my spirit, right? Spirit, my spiritual journey, right, is being paid for. As long as I stay on course, as long as I stay on path, as long as I'm doing what I'm supposed to be doing, I don't have to worry about money. I don't. That's what people don't understand. And people have this they think I'm lucky. And maybe I am. Maybe I do have luck or something like that, because people are like, how she has so much free time? How is she able to do this? How is she able to do that? And I'm like, I'm dedicated to my purpose, and I'm just staying in my lane. I'm not wanting what others have. I'm not wanting to chase what other people may be receiving or envying what everybody else got. I'm just focused on me, and I'm grateful for what I have. I'm grateful for where I'm at in life, and I'm just really glad that I'm here and I'm able to do things that I wasn't able to do before. And I just keep it at that. Like, I'm not like really like, yeah, we could talk about things that I may want financially, like goals, but at the end of the day, I know that spiritually my bills are going to be paid for. So I just go with that. And I just keep it at that. I don't try to go above and beyond. I know that I'm at a level that God prepared me for. And then before that, I was at a different level. And before that, I was at a different level. So as I continue to level up, right, I'm being introduced to a higher level, but it has to be at the right time. Because I remember when I was at a lower level, there were things that I was asking for. And if I'm being completely honest, I wasn't ready for those things. So I've actually surrendered to the pace and the path, and how it's slow and it's steady. And I like that, because things that I was asking for when I was like in this chase where I had to have the perfect closet, I had to have the perfect car, I had to have the perfect apartment, maybe even the house and everything like that. I was always in lack. Always. I was always in lack. I always felt like I didn't have enough. And so now, with me reprogramming my mindset, I'm like, okay, I don't have to be in lack. I don't have to have a scarcity mindset. Like, everything that I need, as long as I do what I'm supposed to do, I stay on path, I stay on purpose, I'll be fine. Will I be rich? No. Like, I don't know what's wrong with this generation that's like really obsessed with being rich. But like, think about you just being in a space where everything that you need is paid for. It's paid for. And listen, before I got to this point, please understand, I was at a lower level and I was jobless, and my rent was coming up, and I'm like, oh my God, how am I gonna pay my rent? How am I gonna pay my rent? How am I gonna pay my rent? And I remember how stressed I was. Like, I was bawling my eyes out, crying my eyes out. And spirit came through once I surrendered. Like, I just remember the day I decided to surrender to my path, right? And then when I surrendered to my path, I've never been in lack. Even when the money was not in my account, I never was in lack. So surrender. And that's the biggest thing, like that's the best advice that I can give you is surrendering. Because I remember the day, I remember I was on my couch, I remember I was crying. Like we talking about one of them cries was like like, oh my God, what do I go? Like, it was, girl, it was bad. Because I really didn't know how I was gonna pay my rent. I did not know. I did not know. And when I say, I was like, I surrendered. I just remember saying it in my, I surrendered. And then after that, like I've just been on this path and it's just been working for me. And I've been staying dedicated and consistent. And it's been a little rocky because you know, certain people come into your life and they create blockages because they're not supposed to be in your life while you're on your purpose. And the reason is because they influence you. They influence you against your path. So you have to kind of walk away from people, distance yourself away from people because they're creating a blockage, which can mess up your money. Yeah, it can mess up your money. It can mess up your progress. It can mess up your purpose. So you got to leave them people alone. So it's so much bigger than being alone and being single. Like I'm actually dedicated to my path and my purpose. And I just want to stay on that because I know what it's like to be off path, to be off purpose. I know what it's like to have people around you and they just creating blockages and they're spiritual. They're energetic. You can feel it. Things just all of a sudden you start to see how things not going so smoothly. You like, what the hell? Like it's just like little things like you get a flat tire or money is missing in your account. Like it's like weird stuff start happening, or your money is funny, or like it's crazy, or a bill that you be like, where the hell did this bill come from? That's when you know, girl. So when I say I don't want to hang around certain people, oh, it's real, girl. It's real. It's so real because I know what it's like hanging around certain people and they not supposed to be around me and they're creating blockages and then all of these bad things start happening. I'm like, what the hell? So, oh, I know. I definitely know. I'm very aware of this. So, no. So, I'm just sharing this with you all because if you listen to the internet has such a shallow way of explaining these things. And I like to go a little deeper beyond the surface because I'm a deep thinker. I like to dive deep into these conversations because, I mean, aren't y'all bored? I mean, I can have a surface level conversation because I really can, but I could go deeper and get on the spiritual side of things too. And when I say I don't want to be around certain people, I really don't want to be around certain people. Like I said, when I was around men that were not like trying to be on purpose or chase their purpose, their finances were a mess. They were intellectually not on my level. That means that they weren't aligned with me spiritually as well. It was chaos. And I just cannot do that again. That was a lesson that I already learned. Why would I go and repeat that for the internet? For Instagram? For an Instagram photo? For a wedding? It just, come on. That's what I'm saying. You know your life better than we know your life. You know your life. You know what you've been through. You know what you had to overcome. You know how you had to get to a certain point so you could get yourself out of certain situations. You can't go back just because the internet says you hit the wall. You're out of your prime. Like, girl, you know. So why would you go backwards? Why would you go back? And y'all got to understand when we speak about finances, money, it's energy. It's an energetic exchange. So if you got some dusty coming in with a funky energy, of course they're blocking your blessings. Hello? Like I talk to women all day, every day. I'm like, girl, it sound like it sound like it's the man in your life, girl. I'm sorry, I hate to say that, but it sound like it is. Then the next thing you know, they come back, they like, girl, you was right. Girl, I got me a new job. Girl, I bought me a new car. Girl, I got the apartment I'm like, and then sometimes it's your friends too. Ooh, yeah, this one hurt. I had to learn this one later. Sometimes it's your friends, it's your girlfriend that you've been friends with for a very long time. And you start to see how that relationship was karmic, but it was a karmic lesson that you needed. And then like you separate yourself and then all of these blessings just come pouring in. And you like, so wait a minute. You were a blockage? This whole time you was a blockage? Like, I've been waiting on this. I've been waiting on this opportunity. I've been waiting on this. You've been this blockage in my life this whole time. It hurts, but it's like, damn, it had to happen. And then sometimes it's your parents. It's your parents. I had to move away from my family. I had to move away from my family. And that's what they don't prepare you for, is being dedicated to your spiritual journey, and you have to move away from your family. That's what they don't talk. We need to talk about that. I have to come back on here and talk about that. I do, because I'm the child that is, I'm the sensitive one. Yes, I have a hard exterior, people blah blah, but I'm very sensitive. It's what makes me intuitive, right? So I felt so guilty for leaving my family, but my life is better. My health is better. Like, damn, my mental health is better. I'm like, I'm trying to remember, like, when was the last time I had a depression episode? I haven't had one in a very long time. Hell, I think it's been almost 3 years. And I've been depressed my whole life. You know what I mean? Like, it's real. Like, when you dedicate yourself to your spiritual journey, girl, the rewards, you go through some stuff though, because you have to learn certain lessons, but the rewards are amazing. They are. They are. So I highly recommend. But yeah, I had to leave my family behind because I honestly haven't gotten to the point where I actually know why. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't. I think the reason why I had to separate from my family is because their influence was fear mongering. Their influence was scarcity. And for me to be on purpose, I had to actually break free of that. Like the conditioning that they had, the thought process and the programming and how they raised me and all of that. It was actually very limiting, and it was keeping me from my purpose to be like to walk fully in it. I really think that was the issue. So, my family can be toxic, dysfunctional. I feel like every family is toxic and has their dysfunction, but it was just the way that they were. It was keeping me from truly walking fully in my purpose. So I don't know who needs to hear that, and that's a hard pill to swallow because you love them. I love my family. Like, I don't hate my family. I think it would have been easier to leave them if I hated them, but I don't. I actually love my family. I love my parents. I love my brothers. I love my grandparents, my aunt. I love everybody. But it was limiting me though. And I oh my God. Like, I remember the last year that I stayed in my hometown, and it was so depressing, y'all. That's why I had a drinking problem. I told you I had that drinking problem. That's why I can't drink in my apartment. I had a drinking problem because I was so depressed, because I knew I had outgrown my family, and I had outgrown my environment. I had outgrown the city. I had outgrown it. And it was like I had hit this ceiling, and I was like trapped. And I don't know, like I don't like feeling trapped, but I felt that energetic, like, okay, you can't go any further because you've reached your full potential here, girl. You're gonna have to move on. And it was hard for me to make that decision because I'm like, dang, I didn't want to move away from my family. I didn't. I feel like I was gonna miss out. Brothers start having kids, stuff like that. I thought I was gonna miss out, but nobody said that the journey, you dedicate yourself to the journey. Nobody said it was gonna be easy. Nobody, and that's that's even the thing when I was talking about earlier about the dark side, right? There's a dark side to everything. Like, even when you're dedicated to your purpose, you're dedicated to your spiritual journey and things like that. There's a dark side to it. Like, you have to be separated away from your family. And it makes sense because your family can influence you. So, and sometimes your influence just needs to be something that comes from within, not social media, not the internet, not a man, not your mother, not your toxic family. It actually needs to come from within, because that's where your purpose, that's where it comes from. It's an internal thing. So I get it. I get it. Um, Dark feminine energy is something that I want to talk more about. because I consider myself to be, if we're going to talk about labels, I consider myself to be a dark feminine, a dark empath, because it's like, listen, girl, I could be empathic all day, but listen, we're gonna have to do something, because we can't keep doing this again. So my dark empathic self is like, okay, like Summer Walker, girl, what we doing? Okay, it's time to put the coochie on some ice, because you done hop from this man, girl, and then this man, and you getting the same results. Like, so you about to get pregnant again by this man? Like, it's like stuff like that. It's like I can have empathy and compassion, but it's just like, come on now. Like the first guy, I'm like, okay. The second, so yeah, that's my dark empath. But I consider myself to be a dark feminine, because I ain't taking no bullshit. And that's the thing, when you a light feminine, you got to take bullshit, and it's just like, I'm not taking that. So you better go get somebody else to deal with that, because I'm not taking that. Mm-mm. So even when it comes to being an empath, like, girl, what are we doing? And that's the thing. When I was in my friendships before, I was a light empath, and people just trauma dumped on me, and I would give my friends great advice. And to be honest, I don't even consider them friends, because they were really using me, but I would give them great advice. They would go out into the world, take my advice that came from my heart space, right? And do the complete opposite. After you done wasted 2 hours, 3 hours of your life on your time on the phone with them, trying to help them sort out their problems, just for them to go back out into the world and do the very thing that you told them not to do. And then they would come back with the same problem, wanting you to do and to give the same advice that you gave them before. And then they would go back out into the world and do it again. This is why I'm a dark empath, because if I tell you once and you go back out into the world and you do it again, and then you try to come back for a second time, I'm gonna tell you to go to hell, because we already had this conversation. We already, now you're draining my energy, and you're trying to take advantage of me being helpful. And you like coming back to me, you like getting my advice because it's sensible, it makes sense to you, you know it's what you need to do, but you putting it into action is where you struggle. And so you think I'm about to come back and coddle you and make you feel better about how you made another dumb mistake. And I'm not doing that. So I consider myself to be a dark empath, because people will drain the hell out of your energy if you're a light empath. Narcissists will take advantage of you when you're a light empath. So now I'm more of a dark empath. And I still step into my light side. It's all about balance. It's all about balance. But if I have to carry myself, I'm going to carry myself in my dark empath. I'm going to carry myself in my dark feminine energy, because the world that we live in, we are constantly surrounded around demons. Just demons. They're all around us. Like, they at the grocery store, they at the gas station, hell, they at the club, they everywhere. So I gotta protect myself. So if I have to lead in something, it's gonna be in my dark feminine energy, because people be having me messed up. I mean, once you actually tap into your feminine energy, right? You heal yourself, da da da. People feel the need to start using you and stuff. I'm just like, wait a minute. Why do people feel comfortable with using me? And then I'm like, oh, it's because I have people pleasing tendencies. So now you don't put yourself in a really bad position, because you was I'm gonna turn the other cheek. Girl, no, we not doing that. No. Now I tell people they can go to hell, because it's like they will take advantage of your kindness. And see, when you're a dark empath, it's not that you're not kind. It's not even that you're not compassionate. You're not compassionate. It's just, try it again, and I'm going to tell you where you can go, because we already had this conversation. There's no need for me to go through it with you again and again and again. So once people, and I'm going to be real with you ladies. I'm going to be real with you. When it comes to this reckoning, this awakening of the modern woman, the majority of women will need to be in their dark feminine energy. I'm just waiting on the collective to catch up. Girl, I already done stepped over to that side because I got tired of getting used. I got tired of getting used. I got tired of being taken advantage of. I got tired of my time being wasted. I got tired of people feeling like that they can come in and out of my life. I got tired of people feeling like they can just basically use me for when they wanted to. And girl, I'm in my dark feminine energy. If you even look at me the wrong way, I'ma block you. I'ma just block you. So it's going to take the majority of the collective of women to step into their dark feminine energy, which will require them to set boundaries. Yep. To walk away from people. It's going to require you to step into your dark feminine energy to walk away from people. It's going to take you to step into your dark feminine energy to basically find your voice, stand up for yourself, and defend yourself. So I'm just waiting on the majority of the divine feminines to step into their dark feminine energy, because these are the times that we're in. We're in spiritual warfare. What you in your light feminine energy anyway? It doesn't even make sense. We're in a spiritual warfare. So you need to come up out of that. I'm sorry. I mean, that probably would have worked 2015, 16, 17. You could have been in your light feminine energy, but not today. Not today. I'm sorry. So a lot of divine feminines need to be in their dark feminine energy, and it's going to start with purging. That's huge. Like purging is healing. Then after you get done purging, then it's going to trickle on down to boundaries. But before you can set your boundaries, I would say number 2 would be finding your voice, then boundaries. And then like truly finding your balance with being in your dark feminine energy, because you don't want to lose your damn mind, because there's a difference. You know what I mean? Like finding your balance with, okay, this is my dark side, this is my light side. And sometimes when I'm in my dark energy, I like to wear a lot of black. I don't know what that's about. But then when I'm in my light side, I like to wear pink and oranges and polka dots and stuff like that. It just really depends on what energy I really want to carry that day or for that moment, honestly. But it's going to take you purging, finding your voice, setting boundaries, finding your balance, and then just like enjoying the space that you have created by you doing all of these things. So I'm just waiting for all the girls to come over to this side, because it's girl, it's fun. The purging process, girl, I'm wishing you all the best, because that purging, girl, that's something serious, hun. Girl, that's some serious shit. Okay, like I was really throwing up. Like that's how crazy it was. But I felt like trauma was leaving my, it was like leaving my abdominal area. Like I could feel it coming out, like out of my body. It was an incredible experience, but I was like, it really made me physically sick. So be careful when it comes to the purging, because I really was throwing up. I really was. I never thought that I was gonna ever have an experience like that. Oh, thank you. This is so sweet. Thank you for the super chat. This one too. Thank you, Ella, for the super chat. But no, that purging though, that it made me physically sick, and I never had a. I can honestly say I think that was the first time I had a spiritual, like it was a spiritual experience that had a physical effect. Like I never experienced anything like that in my life, but it really felt like something was leaving my body. That's all. Like it was energetic. It was coming out of the pits of my stomach, and I was just vomiting. And then I was lightheaded, and I ended up laying down and passing out. So it was bad. So make sure that when you are purging and stuff like that, that you're in a safe environment, because I don't recommend you purging in an environment that you're not safe in. And that's the thing about, that's what gets tricky about this. Being on a large platform, women not being in a safe environment for them to actually do this work on themselves. So there's levels to it. Make sure you get yourself to a safe space, then you can start working on these things. Because if you're not in a safe space, I wouldn't advise that you do this, because I think it's going to make things worse. I don't think it's going to make things better. So be careful about that. Get to a safe space. Like if you're not in a safe space or environment, I don't recommend you start this, because it has the ability to take you out of survival mode energetically and spiritually, and if you're not in a safe space, you don't need to come out of survival because you got to survive, unfortunately. So keep that in mind. Like, that's the tricky thing about having a large following, women being at different, paces and places in life and levels in life. So if you're starting, you should honestly start with getting to a safe space, then purging. Then after you purge, then you find your voice, then you set boundaries, and then you find your balance. Because sometimes you have to go extreme and then you have to balance it out. Because, girl, let me tell you something. When I was setting my boundaries, people was looking at me like, girl, you done lost your mind. And I was like, wait a minute. This person doesn't respect me. This person I've known all of these years does not respect me. So I had to like cuss them out. I had to cuss them. I don't cuss at people. See, that's the thing. And so I had to actually like cuss them out so they knew that I wasn't playing with them, because it actually took me cussing them out for them to realize, oh, she's serious. Like, what the hell? So yeah, ladies, when you step into your dark feminine, sometimes you have to go to the extreme. But remember, once you set the tone, then come back and balance it out, because you don't want to be a toxic dark feminine. You want to be a healthy, balanced dark feminine. So yeah, at first I was like real extreme, and then I'm like, okay, girl, people, they know not to play with me now. So, we good now, girl, we good. But at first it was like, oh, hell no. Like, these people they looking at me like, who she thinks she talking to? And all you were saying is, listen, not today. And they wasn't listening to you. And so you had to get loud with them. You had to cuss them out a little bit, because they really weren't hearing you though. And so now that you set the tone, people like, who is this? Who does she think she is? And now they know not to play with you. Now you can level it out. You can balance it out, and you can come back, to the middle. Oh, yes, Ash. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. This is so sweet. So I'm going to end the live here. Hopefully this helps. I want to do more content regarding us. I do. So that's what I plan on focusing on, conversations like this, but I'm going to dig a little deeper into certain things like boundaries. Where do you start? What are some other things? Oh, accountability and confidence, and why that goes hand in hand. Things like that. So, but it won't be lives. I'm going to go back to posted pre-recorded videos, because I want it to be more intimate as far as giving you like a list of things. And I actually want to be transparent about my journey on setting boundaries, my journey on accountability, because it was a journey to accountability. Okay. It was a journey. That's what people don't understand. This is a journey. You have to grow to these things. You don't just become these things overnight. So you have to grow to these things. And that's what kills me about this space, is like, people just want you to pop up and you just supposed to be this thing. And it's like, that's not real. You have to grow to these things. So I want to share my experiences through my experiences, right? By talking about these different things and how I was able to grow into this person, into this woman, because I didn't just wake up like this. I'm sorry. I didn't. It would have been nice, but no, it took work. So I'm going to end the live here. Like I said, I promised that I was going to keep this video up for 24 hours. So you have 24 hours, and then I'm going to push it back to Patreon. You ladies enjoy the rest of your evening. Happy healing, happy purging. And if you're not at that place yet, I'm wishing you a happy and safe environment in your future. Good night, ladies.